if nothing is ever good enough, if you keep polishing, deleting, restarting, if you hold your breath every time you're about to press send, this is for you. You tell yourself, I just need one more pass, one more tweak, one more hour, then it will be worthy. But somehow the finish line keeps moving, the bar keeps rising, and the day ends with a familiar ache in your chest. The work stays in drafts. The painting sits in a corner. The message remains unsent. And you whisper, I'll try again tomorrow. That ache has a name. Some call it perfectionism, as if it's a noble pursuit. But in Jung's language, it's a protector at the gate, the part of you that believes the world will only love you if you arrive without a single crack. It's not chasing excellence, it's defending you from a deeper fear. If I'm seen as I am, I'll be judged, rejected, humiliated. So the work never ends, because ending means exposure. Ending means you step onto a stage under bright lights. Let's make this real. Picture this. You've written the post. You stare at it and feel a pull in your stomach. You notice 3 tiny flaws that no one else would notice, but to you they feel enormous. You open a new tab. You clean the kitchen. You return. You change one word, then another. The light outside shifts. You edit until your eyes are dry. It still doesn't feel safe. The day ends, and the thing you care about stays inside. It's not laziness. It's a nervous system that's convinced you only survive by hiding your humanness. Jung would invite us to look beneath that stage light. He'd point to the persona, the mask we all learn to wear, the successful, agreeable, flawless version we present to the world. And he'd point to the shadow, the part we keep behind the curtain, the messy, tender, imperfect, brilliantly human one. Perfectionism, he might say, is the persona's shield held high against the shadow's entrance. It's the voice of a very old inner figure, the severe Senex, the old judge who measures you from a high bench. Not because he hates you, but because long ago you learned that approval felt like safety and mistakes felt like danger. Praise meant belonging, criticism, exile. That lesson stuck. The judge stayed. You may recognize his law: never be caught unprepared, never give anyone a target, never be vulnerable in public, so you polish until all fingerprints are removed. But in removing the fingerprints, you remove the living pulse. Perfection becomes a glass museum, no breath, no warmth, no life. Jung would say that the unlived, the unexpressed, doesn't disappear. It turns into pressure. It dreams. It leaks out as anxiety, irritability, sudden tears. And at night, the psyche sends images. Classic dreams of perfectionists, failing a test you didn't know you had, showing up late to an exam, or your teeth breaking in front of a mirror. The theme is humiliation. The message is simple and kind. If you listen, you're trying to outrun being human. How do we work with this? Gently, without shaming the part of you that's trying to keep you safe. Jung invites a different kind of courage, not the courage to be flawless, but the courage to be whole. Wholeness is not pristine. Wholeness includes the crack and the gold that fills it. Think of kintsugi, the art of mending broken pottery with gold. The repair doesn't hide the break, it reveals it as part of the object's beauty and story. That's what finishing is. Finishing is not proving your worth. Finishing is allowing your story to be seen, cracks and all. Let's start with a small ritual. Choose one thing that is nearly done, not perfect, not complete by your old standard. Bring it to the table like a bowl that needs one more line of gold. Give yourself 20 minutes, set a timer. In those 20 minutes, you're not trying to erase the human from it. You're making the last, loving edits that honor the human within it. Then, when the timer ends, you do the most sacred act a perfectionist can do. You release it, post it, send it, sign it. If your hands shake, let them. That tremble is gold. It means you're alive. But what about the inner judge, the Senex? Jung would ask you to meet him, not obey him. Sit with a notebook and write a conversation. Ask him, "What are you protecting me from?" Let him answer. He might say, "I remember the day we were laughed at. I remember how red our face turned. I vowed to never let that happen again." If you listen, you'll hear care hidden behind severity. Thank him for his service. Then renegotiate. Tell him, "I need your wisdom, but not your whip. I will finish this piece and allow a 30% margin of imperfection. I will make mistakes and survive them." Make this explicit. You'd be surprised how the inner climate shifts when the protector is respected and given a new job. Consultant, not tyrant. Here's another doorway. Notice the moment your body tries to flee. It happens right before you finish. Your throat tightens, your chest heats, your mind says one more round. This is the threshold. Jung would call it an initiation, the small death of an old identity, the birth of a new one. Each time you finish, the persona's grip loosens and the shadow is allowed a breath of air. You grow bigger than your mask. To help your body cross the threshold, pair finishing with something simple and physical. After you release the work, step outside. Touch a tree. Drink a glass of water slowly. Breathe into your belly and name what you feel. Fear, relief, gratitude. The ritual teaches your nervous system that exposure is survivable. You may wonder, but what if they judge me? Someone will. Jung won't flatter us here. The world contains critics, and not all criticism is unkind. But when you finish and allow the piece to walk outside, what is really being tested is your relationship to the audience inside. Projection is at work. The harshest eye on your work is often the eye you carry within. The audience becomes a screen for the old judge. Begin noticing when external comments sting with unusual power. Ask, whose voice is this really? Many times it's a parent, a teacher, a peer who once smirked. When you recognize the old voice, you can return it to its time. You can listen for the present, smaller signal. Is there something useful here? If yes, you integrate it. If no, you let it pass through like wind through an open window. There's a cousin to perfectionism you may know well, procrastination, but they're not identical twins. Procrastination says, "Not now." Perfectionism says, "Not until it's flawless." The result is the same, no movement. The cure for both is not violence, it's rhythm. Jung was attentive to cycles, the way energy rises and falls. Create a rhythm of finishing. Daily, one small thing. A sketch, a paragraph, an email with typos you fix later. Choose a size you can actually carry. The psyche trusts rhythm more than grand promises. Think of it like sweeping a path each morning. After a while, you'll look up and see a road. Here's a practical method grounded in Jung's active imagination, translated softly. Close your eyes. Picture the part of you that demands perfection. What does it look like? A stern teacher, a soldier at the gate. Sit beside them and ask, "What standard are you asking me to meet exactly?" Often, the standard is undefined, which is why you can never meet it. Ask them to write the standard down, 3 clear criteria, then propose a good enough alternative. Today, I will meet 2 out of 3. I will finish. I will learn in public. You may feel the figure soften. If not, hold their gaze, kindly. Everyone relaxes when they feel seen. Another practice, the ugly offering. Once a week, make something intentionally imperfect and share it with a trusted circle. A messy voice memo, a half-formed idea, a painting with visible corrections. This isn't self-sabotage, it's vaccination. In small doses, you expose yourself to the thing you fear, imperfection, and teach your system that nothing catastrophic happens. Your friends don't leave. Your life doesn't collapse. Instead, something tender appears. Connection. People don't fall in love with your flawlessness. They fall in love with your fingerprints. Mid-roll CTA. Before we go further, I want to hear from you. What's one thing you'll finish ugly this week and release anyway? Share it in the comments. And if this helped you breathe a little easier, consider subscribing so we can keep walking this path together. Let's talk dreams again, because they're honest. If you're haunted by the recurring exam dream, or the one where you're speaking and nothing comes out, assume your psyche is begging for a different covenant, not perfection, participation. Dreams often push us toward life, even if they scare us there. They may stage your deepest fear, exposure, so you can rehearse surviving it in the theater of the night. When you wake, write the dream down. Ask, if this dream had an instruction for my next small action, what would it be? Then do that tiny thing before noon and let the dream feel your response. There is also a softer figure who wants to help. The poor, the inner child of wonder. Perfectionism suffocates the poor. It pinches the small, bright spark that makes the work sing. Invite them back. Give them a corner of the day to play without grades. 10 minutes of color outside the lines. One sentence typed with your eyes closed. Music without a metronome. You may find that when the poor is allowed to breathe, finishing gets easier. Not because the standard drops, but because the work regains its heartbeat. Living things want to complete their cycle. They don't want to be frozen under glass. Now imagine a stage, not the harsh spotlight you fear, but a small wooden platform in a quiet room. 3 chairs in the front row, 3 people who are safe, a friend, a mentor, a stranger who roots for humans. This is your first audience, not the crowd, not the internet. Start here, share here, finish here. Jung knew that transformation doesn't demand witnesses, but a few loving witnesses make the crossing less lonely. Then, when you're steadier, you can open the door a little wider. But begin with a small stage and let your nervous system learn that finishing doesn't equal public execution. It can simply mean joining the world. If you crave a symbol to carry, draw an imperfect circle each morning. In Zen, they call it an enso. 1 breath, 1 stroke. No corrections. The circle will wobble. Good. Your day begins with a completed act that includes your humanity. Tape the circles to a wall. Watch how, over time, the wobble becomes a signature, a rhythm only your hand can make. Talent isn't the absence of wobble. It's the presence of spirit. And when the day ends, return to the central truth Jung would offer. Wholeness, not perfection, is the goal. Perfection isolates. Wholeness connects. Perfection hardens us against the risk of love. Wholeness softens us into it. When you finish, you're not declaring, I am flawless. You're saying, I am here, with my gold-filled cracks, ready to participate. Some will approve, some won't. Both are weather. Your task is the same, to keep showing up at the gate, thanking the judge, bowing to the child, and letting the work go. Maybe tonight is the night you stop editing your life in secret. Maybe you choose a small, specific offering and release it, even with a trembling hand. If the voice returns and says, not good enough, you can answer, kindly, not perfect, but whole. Not pristine, but alive. And that is enough for today. Because the point of your life was never to impress a faceless tribunal. The point is to become real, to integrate the mask and the shadow, to be seen and still belong to yourself. Finish something small, and you will feel the door in your chest open a little. Finish again tomorrow, and the hallway grows brighter. One day, you'll look back and realize the museum has become a home. The glass cases are gone. The rooms are full of warmth. Your work, in all its beautiful fingerprints, is living where it belongs, out here with us.